This $49 Wi-Fi booster is taking the world by storm. It can give you super fast Wi-Fi anywhere and anytime in 60 seconds for a fraction of the cost.
Mic check 1 2. Hopefully everyone's doing good and, like I said, able to hear me. Let me take these ads off. That way you can actually hear my voice a little bit better. Hey D-Will. Hey Keyword. Good evening, Robin. Who else is in here? Looks like we got people making their way in. We are live. I apologize for being 15 minutes late. I'm usually right on time, but if you guys know, if you just saw, I just got my my video up for the day on some antioxidant drinks and some antioxidant recipes, which I think you guys are really gonna enjoy. And I had a really good time making it, and I'm really proud of that video. So if you guys could go and give that a watch, I think it's great for everyone. Even for myself, I picked up a lot of good tips. Now I knew turmeric and ginger and lemon and things like that were great, but I chose 3 separate recipes that were very distinctly different. So one has to do with a green juice. You guys will see this in the video, but let me just give you a little preview. One has to do with a green juice base, the other one is turmeric, ginger, and lemon based, and the other one is berry and citrus and even beet based. So I'm just giving you guys a little preview. I think you guys will really like that. It tells you everything about the antioxidant drink itself, and even more importantly, how to make it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I had a lot of fun making it for you guys. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. Okay, it looks like we got more people trickling on in. Kuwan, great to see you. Joshua, great to see you in. Thank you so much. Love seeing you guys in chat. Loves reading your comments. Joshua, you've been a huge supporter. Kuwan, I know you've been really hitting up these live streams hard. So thank you so much for all your support, guys. Robin, Keyword, same thing with you. D-Will, same thing with you. Really been enjoying these streams. And everyone else who's lurking, same thing. You don't have to, just come in here and ask questions and things like that. If you just want to come in and maybe learn a little bit of information, maybe learn from some of the things that I'm going to say, maybe some of the answers that I'm going to give to some of the questions, that's 100% fine too. So I have no problem with that. But it's great to see all of you guys back in here, and I hope you guys are enjoying this stream as much as I am. So today we're going to talk about some immune boosting foods. I thought that would be a good one because, in some of the other chats we were sort of talking a little bit about that, but I didn't go too in depth. So, I wanted to make sure that I did it on my own separate sort of stream. That way we could really go in depth on it. Tiny bit more volume. Is the volume a little bit low? Usually, it does make sense. The mic is a little bit lower, but I did turn the volume up, so hopefully you guys can hear a little bit better. Hopefully that's sounding fine there, Keyword. Let me know, guys, how the volume's sounding. Hopefully it's sounding good for you guys. Here, I can even make a little adjustment. How's that sounding? Now I'm right in front of the microphone, so it should be picking up my voice very well. I don't want to overdo it too and, blow your guys' eardrums or anything like that. So foods to reduce stress. You know what? Stress is one of those things, sometimes tied to anxiety and things like that. It's louder, Kuwan, so it's good, or are you saying that it should be a little bit louder? From right now, it's at the exact same settings, and my voice is literally right in front of the microphone. So I'm hoping that it's picking up pretty good. So foods to reduce stress. That's an interesting one. Stress is, it's played with our hormones so much. So, there's certain vitamins and minerals and things like that. There's a lot of different vitamins that I've read studies with, and I might have even made videos on it. Melatonin can help with stress. Glycine is a very important amino acid, so we want to make sure that we're getting all of our amino acids, and a lot of times that comes from things like quality meats. Beans, lentils, legumes, they do have good amino acids, but they don't have complete amino acids. Okay, good. Thank you, Kuwan. So, getting glycine, I think I talked a little bit about that in my guava leaf video, proline and glycine. I believe that was the one. There has been some studies with ashwagandha and dealing with stress. And then the last one I would kind of say would be sort of your B vitamins. So vitamin B12 is a very important one. Vitamin B6, another important one. And then, at the end of the day, all B vitamins are very important. You have your niacin, so vitamin B3, vitamin B5. There's just so many of them. But with stress, good morning, Tammy. Good to see you in here. Thank you so much for coming in and being a part of the stream. So those are the sort of the things that people, or there's been studies having to do with foods that can help with stress. But a lot of the times it's actually our lifestyle that can make the most difference from what I've seen, even working with clients and things like that. So getting proper rest is a big one. Getting exercise, so movement is just as important, if not more important, than actually those vitamins and minerals. And then, there's a lot of things out there like breathing techniques and all that different stuff to try to help reduce stress. But I think movement, sleep, those types of things, because the more cortisol that we have in the body, the more stress we're probably going to have. So even limiting caffeine, because caffeine is going to spike that cortisol, especially in the morning. It's actually interesting. Cortisol is the highest when right when we wake up. So a lot of the times, if we're feeling anxiety or if we're feeling stressed for the day, the first thing we do is go and grab coffee. That's going to spike our cortisol levels, and that's the stress hormone even more. So a lot of times, I know I'm guilty of it. I'll have a coffee in the morning, but I also will try to get some movement right in the morning as well. So I hope that helps. Hopefully I didn't miss any other questions. B complex vitamin, magnesium. Yes, magnesium can help with relaxation. So a lot of people will take magnesium citrate at nighttime to help with relaxation and things like that. But at the end of the day, stress, anxiety, sometimes you might want to talk to your medical practitioner as well, because a lot of the times, even with natural cures and things like that, there might be an underlying issue that goes beyond that. So again, if that's not helping or anything like that, I gave quite a few things. Maybe talk with your medical practitioner. All right, D. Will, shouldn't B vitamin be taken together? So are you talking about all of the B vitamins being taken together at once? Is that an issue? Because I certainly take my B vitamins all at once. I actually have, I supplement with B vitamins, and I make sure that I get quite a bit of B vitamins throughout the day just because I am so active. So B vitamins are very important for myself. But can you take B vitamins all together? So like vitamin B12, vitamin B6. Yes, in moderation, of course. You don't want to overdo it with B vitamins, but there's no reason why you can't take niacin, thiamine, all of that good stuff all together. As a complex, yes, absolutely. And that's what I take. So I took complex B vitamin, and even, there's blends with a complex B vitamin that can specifically help with stress as well. So that's a good point, D. Will. I know that there's a lot of mixtures with B vitamins. So you got your complex B vitamins plus like a stress reducing formula that's mixed in there as well. So, the B vitamins are very popular, very underrated. Vitamin B12 B12 deficiency, very common, up there with like iron, vitamin D, things like that. You hear all the time people going to get vitamin B12 shots just because they're so low in vitamin B12. And the more active that you are, the lower usually that your vitamin B12 or B vitamins actually are in the body as well. So very good point. And B vitamins are actually going to help with immune boosting as well. I always like turning things back to the title of the stream today with immune system boosting foods. So there's a ton right now, and with everything going on, I know you guys have been really asking about COVID, and can I build up my immunity so I can prevent COVID and things like that. That's not really where I want to go with the discussion today. COVID is a whole separate issue, and sometimes it's very tough. Looks like we lost the screen already, but I think the picture is still up. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why. Every time I stream, for some reason I lose I lose one of my screens, but it looks like the picture's still up and we're still good to go. So hopefully you guys can see that nice picture with all the fruits and vegetables and everything. Oh no, there's the no signal, but that's okay. We'll live through that. No signal is 100% fine. As long as we're getting the information out there, then we're okay. All right, so like I was saying, I don't want to necessarily attach this immune system boosting foods to preventing COVID. There's just too few studies out there. I know vitamin D was one that we talked about. Zinc was another one. As long as you're getting those immune system boosting foods, that's the important thing. Doesn't matter if it's COVID. It can be any cold or flu. It can be any illness, infection, disease. There's so much else out there. Yes, COVID is the big thing right now, and we all want to prevent COVID. But I don't want to necessarily just focus on immune system boosting to prevent COVID. Thanks, D. Will. Yes, I'm still here. Thank you guys so much for putting up with that. I literally have been trying to fix it. It doesn't do it for any other times. It might just be something with the OBS and maybe the stream key or something like that, but we won't worry about it. Like D. Will said, as long as we're getting the information, that's great. All right, let me get to some questions here. I know I put in the title immune system boosting foods. If you guys have questions on that, great. But I also put and more because I know you guys have questions on a bunch of other things. So let's go over some of the questions. Let's see, how far back do I have to go? Zeb Unissa, I hope I'm not pronouncing that wrong. Thank you so much for joining the chat. I don't believe I've seen you in here before. I could be wrong. But welcome. Thank you so much for joining. So hypothyroidism, so overacting thyroid. Let's talk a little bit about thyroid function. So what's important for thyroid function? Because thyroid, very important for hormone production. So hyperthyroidism, there are some nutrients. I've seen some studies. We talked a little bit about this last time, where iodine was one of the important things for adequate thyroid production and hormone production and things like that. I had looked it up because remember I was saying, talk to your doctor about just how much iodine you want to get. From what I read, and again, this isn't me saying take this and then you'll 100% be fine. Still talk to your doctor, but it seems like 150 micrograms a day for adults is often recommended. Again, I would not recommend that. I would speak to your doctor. Also, B vitamins, again, just like we were talking about, B complex vitamins. So B12, things like that. Very essential. And also don't forget about selenium. So Brazil nuts, selenium is a very good vitamin for proper thyroid function. So those I would say selenium, zinc, B vitamins, iodine is up there, and vitamin D seems to vitamin D deficiency can be strongly kind of correlated with thyroid function deficiency or inadequacy. So those would be the ones that I would say. But again, thyroid function is very complex, Zeb. So those are some of the vitamins that you'll find out there. I would always speak with your medical practitioner about it, because it might not be a vitamin issue. It could be genetic. It could be something else. So I would make sure that you speak with your medical practitioner. But those are the vitamins that I often read about that are sort of recommended for thyroid function and everything like that. Now, for hypothyroid, again, that could change. But yeah, I would stick with that. I know I've done videos on selenium and thyroid function and everything like that. That's why I was big on Brazil nuts. And again, you don't need to eat a bunch of Brazil nuts to get that adequate amount of selenium. Maybe even like 3 Brazil nuts, 1 to 3 Brazil nuts, and you're getting your daily recommended intake of selenium. So yes, iodine. Yes, keyword iodine is one of the ones. And again, that's the one that you want to kind of speak with your medical practitioner about, because too much iodine is not a good thing either. Too much of anything really isn't a good thing. Kelp and iodine. I believe that there is an iodine supplement that does use sea kelp. So I do believe that you are correct, because remember, seaweed is it's pretty much the same thing. So there is some iodine in your kelp as well. I know it's one of the pretty popular supplements out there. They'll use sea kelp for an iodine supplement, so totally makes sense that kelp would be used there. Selenium, I'm not so sure. I can't remember off the top of my head just how much selenium is in there, but I don't think it's that much, to be honest with you. I can't remember any very much selenium actually being in kelp keywords, so keep that in mind as well. And no problem, Zeb, my pleasure. Keep yourself safe, and sorry to hear that you're going through some thyroid issues and things like that. It can be very tough, and it can be a long drawn out process as well, just trying to come up with the actual cause and the cure to what can help it. So again, speak with your medical practitioner, but those were some of the vitamins that I remember reading on and making videos about too. So all right, so if there's any more questions, keep them coming, guys. Well, welcome, Deborah. I'm glad that you're here in the stream. Welcome to the channel. It's a pleasure to have you. And thank you so much, guys, for really crushing that like button. I know that's it's almost kind of a meme right now to say crush that like button, but you guys are really doing a great job of hitting that like button, and I do really appreciate it, because that's with the algorithms now and everything like that, that like button and comments and everything like that is so important to tell YouTube, we're enjoying these videos, and the information here is something worth putting out. So thank you so much, guys. So let's talk a little bit about some immune system boosting foods. So with immune system boosting foods, there's so many foods out there that you can use for immune system boosting. That's why I love the topic, because there's just so many things out there that can help with it. Why it said no signal? To tell you the truth, Queen, I have no idea. We had a picture up there, everything was looking fine, but for some reason it just, I'll get one screen crash and then it'll go to no signal. So I'll lose the picture. It's a nice picture up there, and then it'll just go to no signal. I'm still trying to figure that out, but as we've kind of mentioned in the stream, as long as the information can still be relayed to everyone, as long as we're still getting it out there, I'm happy with it. It might say no signal, but you know, like I said, as long as the information, we can still have this chat back and forth, then that's great. Selenium and anti-cancer. You know, I haven't really read too much on that. I don't, in my videos, you guys might notice, I don't really get into too much with anti-cancer and things like that. I think just eating a well-balanced meal or a well-balanced diet, you know, meals that are rich in vitamins, nutrients, things like that, being active, getting good rest and sleep and everything like that. I think that's the best bet. There's not going to be a vitamin or a mineral, one vitamin or one mineral that's going to be anti-cancer. There could be studies that do support that, but sometimes, you know, studies can be off a little bit as well. So I never really promote anti-cancer. So I'm not saying that's a bad question, keyword, or something that is wrong to bring up, because you could be totally right. It's just not something that I really stick to too much or really promote in the videos. Oh, well, thank you so much, Queen. No problem, my pleasure. And that's pretty much why there's the no signal. My best answer is I have no idea. I'm trying to figure that out. So yes, as long as I can get it out there, and I'm happy to answer your questions. So that's excellent. So let's go to Deborah's question. Excited to learn about immune boosting foods, supplements. Let's talk about some supplements first. Let's talk about some vitamins and minerals that can help boost immunity. That's probably the best way to start. Do you need supplements? Absolutely not. Do supplements help? Yes, they absolutely can, especially if you're deficient or having a hard time getting certain vitamins and minerals. But usually, again, if you're eating your dark leafy green vegetables, all those different colors, so bell peppers, good fibrous fruits, you know, beets, things like that. So you're getting anthocyanins. You know, you're going to do a good job of actually getting those types of immune system boosting foods, and then that's connected with the vitamins and minerals that are going to boost your immunity. But let's talk about supplements, okay? So by supplements, I'm going to assume that you mean different vitamins and minerals. So some of the immune system boosting supplements, let's talk about vitamins and minerals first. The biggest one is probably vitamin C. Vitamin C is an excellent immune system boosting vitamin. Maybe one of the best. You guys have probably heard that. So supplementing with like a vitamin C supplement, you could have, I prefer liquid vitamin C. It's excellent. Other antioxidant foods or vitamins such as vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, zinc. There's just so many things. So all those sort of antioxidant compounds, vitamins, minerals are great for boosting immune system. All right, and even vitamin D we're starting to figure out now, and we see that a lot with this whole COVID situation. Do you need to have supplements? Absolutely not. I think if you stick with your leafy green vegetables, so dark leafy green vegetables such as broccoli, kale, spinach, bell peppers may be one of your best, because pound for pound, that's one of the best vitamin C foods that you can actually consume. I love bell peppers. I try to have them every single day. I try to have broccoli every single day. I think those are just two of your best. So bell peppers and broccoli, just two of your best immune system boosting foods right there. Excellent. And because of the fiber that's found in the broccoli as well, it's going to make a good source of a good food source for good bacteria in the gut. And again, if we have healthy digestion, we're increasing nutrient uptake, which is going to, again, allow us to boost our immune system and allow it to do it naturally. So those are some of the ones, Deborah. You know, B vitamins as well are great, but there's just so many great immune system boosting foods. supplements are definitely helpful, but I think you can, get those vitamins and minerals in with foods as well, whole raw foods that are going to be great. And so it's not just vitamins and minerals that we really need to talk about, it's also antioxidants. All right, antioxidants are a tremendous immune system booster. They're going to fight free radicals, they're going to reduce oxidative stress, and if we can do that, we can support or maybe even limit certain infections, disease, and even damage to the immune system itself, which can kind of put us at risk for getting the common cold and flu and things like that. Also, don't forget, vitamin C is going to help with those white blood cells that are actually going to go out and fight those infections. So that's why I love vitamin C so much, and that was the first one that I actually sort of recommended to you. And broccoli, pound for pound, huge in vitamin C. Bell peppers, huge in vitamin C, Deborah. So if you're consuming those, then you're doing a great job. What you think of Edos? Do you mean Edos oil? Is that what you mean, Kuwan? Sorry, the stream is going fast. I'm answering questions, and it looks like I might be missing some questions here, so I do apologize. Brewer's yeast. Brewer's yeast, I do believe that is actually quite high in B complex vitamins, Tammy. So I don't see anything wrong with brewer's yeast. I think it's actually a really good source of pretty much all of your B complex vitamins. Remember, B complex vitamins, a lot of people know about vitamin B6 and vitamin B12, but you have B1, which is thiamine, B2, which is riboflavin, B3, niacin, B5, I believe, pantothenic acid. Your vitamin B6. Folic acid would be your vitamin B9. Even biotin, I think someone might have brought that up in chat here. Vitamin B7, things like that. So brewer's yeast seems like an interesting one. I've never tried it, but it does look like it is quite high in those B vitamins. So, as long as sometimes yeasts can have certain consequences to them, I guess, if we're a little bit susceptible to yeast. A lot of people might be sort of have not allergies to them, but just might be a little bit sensitive to certain yeasts. Then that could be an issue, but brewer's yeast does seem to be a good source of B vitamins. I love kale, onions, garlic, and ginger. All right, Queen, perfect. Yes, some of my favorites. And in my video today, I think I had all of them except for onions in there for anti-inflammatory foods. So, kale's great, garlic's great, ginger's great, and so anti-inflammatories as well. All right, that might be a nice little kind of header to our next point with immune system boosting foods. So, you have your nutrient dense foods, the vitamins and minerals that we've already gone over. You have your antioxidants. One of my favorite immune system boosting foods is actually a drink. Green tea is excellent because it's so high in antioxidants. EGCG again, all the polyphenols, things like that. It's excellent for reducing free radicals in the body, inflammation. And then, your anti-inflammatory foods are great for boosting the immune system naturally. Ginger I really like because it has that active compound gingerol. So garlic also has an active compound, allicin. And onions and garlic are two of the same. Very similar, come from the same sort of, they're sort of the two peas in a pod. Are tea in bags healthy since I love teas? Yeah, tea in bags are fine. Absolutely. I have tea in bags all the time. There was that big trend where everyone was going loose leaf, but I don't see anything wrong with tea bags, Queen. Like I said, all of the tea that I drink is coming from tea bags. There hasn't been any studies where loose leaf, or not that I know of, there might be, but The difference might be, very slight, where loose leaf is better than tea bags. But, as long as you're drinking the tea and you're letting it steep I like doing it for about 10 minutes. If you can let it steep for about 10 minutes and I keep the tea bag in, you're going to get more of the medicinal benefits of, say, like your turmeric tea, of your green tea and things like that. So I'm not one of those people that'll let it steep for 3 to 5 minutes. I keep it in there and I let that sucker infuse. So I let all those ingredients just kind of infuse into the tea, and then I just drink it with the tea bag in there. How much vitamin C should one take a day to boost immune system? That's an excellent question. It kind of goes back and forth, just on size, your activity levels and things like that. I know, it's hard. I don't really want to recommend it. It's one of those things that you want to talk with your medical practitioner about. I have seen upper limits of, say, 2,000 milligrams a day. That might be a little bit high. I think if you're getting somewhere around 50 to 100, you're doing a good job. That's often recommended for adults as well. So I just think 2,000 is really high. Some people even will recommend 500 milligrams a day. I think if you're somewhere in that 100 to 200, I think you're doing fine, and you're going to get those benefits of the vitamin C to boost the immune system. Because don't forget, you're having the vitamin C, but you're also using all those other vitamins, minerals, micronutrients, phytonutrients, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, all those other things to help boost the immune system as well. So you don't have to overdo it with vitamin C. Let vitamin C sort of be, on its own. I don't even know if you need to supplement with it if you're eating healthy foods. But if you do want to supplement, that's fine too. But again, that upper limit of 2,000 milligrams does seem a little bit high to me. I will say that. But again, it's very dependent on, if you're deficient in vitamin C, for one. That's very uncommon these days. There's just so many vitamin C sources. But I think if you're getting like that 100 to 250, you're doing okay. But again, that's something you're going to want to speak with your doctor about, Deborah. But yeah, vitamin C, again, doesn't have to be in huge amounts, because you are getting so much in those foods like peppers and things like that. Oh, white blood count? Okay, excellent. That's great, Deborah. Yes, I would be careful about just having too much. I think I always lean on like the side of caution, again, because I'm just passionate about researching healthy foods and things like that. I am not a medical practitioner. So I like just throwing out the facts that I've read and things like that. I think 2,000 milligrams seems awfully high to me. I think if you're doing a good job of eating healthy foods and things like that, then that vitamin C count is gonna go up fairly fast. Like if you're having broccoli, if you're having bell peppers, tons of other green vegetables like kale and things like that, it's just so high in vitamin C. That's why I'm saying that it's very uncommon for people that have a vitamin D deficiency. It sounds like you might be. So again, that would be another good reason to speak with your medical practitioner. Let's look for some more. Ito's. Are we talking about Ito's here? Taro root. Okay, let's talk about taro root. Did you have a specific question regarding taro root? Kuwan? I've done a number of videos on taro root. If you guys want to know the benefits of taro root, I can name a ton off the top of my head. I know for one, it's very rich in nutrients, so very nutrient dense. You don't have to eat a ton to actually get a lot of your daily recommended value of nutrients. we've been talking a lot about B vitamins. That's going to be one of them. Vitamin B6 especially, for taro root. I've always found taro root is kind of hard to eat in large quantities, so it is kind of nice that you don't have to eat it in large amounts. Also, it's very high in fiber, so it's fairly low in calories, but very high in fiber, which is great, and very nutrient dense. So the fact that I always love nutrient dense foods. You guys will hear me talk about that all the time. So if it's low in calories, that's why nuts and seeds, you got to play around a little bit because they are high in calories. They're high in fat, but usually the ones that I kind of recommend: almonds, walnuts, Brazil nuts, sunflower seeds, hemp hearts, things like that, pumpkin seeds. Very nutrient dense, incredibly nutrient dense, but high in calories. Things like taro root, low in calories, but super high in nutrients and in fiber. And fiber is great too because it's going to help keep you satiated throughout the day and keep you full, which is nice. If we're full, that can, not only are we getting our nutrients, but we're making sure that we're satiated and we're not overeating as well, because obesity, as we know, is it's almost like a pandemic in itself. What brand of green tea? You know what, Deborah? Most brands are fairly good. I can't even remember off the top of my head which green tea that I drink. I just make sure. I think a good brand is a brand where the only ingredient is just green tea. So if you want just green tea in it of itself, I'll drink a matcha green tea. So that's a good one. It might be Pukka. Pukka is a very good one. But just make sure that it should really only say one ingredient, and it's just green tea. So you don't want to see a bunch of other stuff thrown in there as well. I mean, if it's a mix of like turmeric, green tea, and other stuff like that, then you'll find that stuff, obviously. But a good brand of green tea is just green tea, where green tea is your main ingredient and pretty much your only ingredient. There's tons of brands out there and tons of good brands as well. I just want to say thank you so much for hitting the like button, guys. You're crushing it right now. You're making me so happy and so proud with that. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Liha. So we talked a little bit about immunity boosting during the pandemic. I had mentioned before, I don't really want to talk too much about immunity boosting correlating with COVID and the pandemic. I just haven't read enough studies on that. And COVID, obviously, as a non-medical practitioner, is something that we have to leave to the experts. So I can't talk too much about specific foods or vitamins and things like that. I know vitamin D3, vitamin D was a big one that was out there for a long time. Zinc was another one that I believe was out there. But I think some of the things that we were talking about before with just boosting your immunity in general is going to be great, and vegetables are perfect for it because vegetables very nutrient dense. You got your vitamin C, you got your selenium, you got your vitamin A, you got zinc in there already. What else do you got? B vitamins, very good for immunity, very good. And then also that's the vitamins. We also got magnesium and things like that. Magnesium is so important for so many bodily functions. So if you're eating your vegetables, leafy green vegetables, you're going to be building up that immunity, all right? And also, don't forget, it's not just vitamins and minerals that we want to focus on. It's the antioxidants, all right? Foods that are high in antioxidants. Oh, that's okay, Lihat. I'm very happy to answer it again because I think it's something important to go over because I'm sure you're not the only one that's come in a little bit later. So no problem at all. Also the antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds because we want to get rid of those free radicals that can damage the immune system. All right. And then fiber is good too because remember, fiber is a good food source for healthy bacteria in the gut that is going to help healthy bacteria to thrive, get rid of that bad bacteria. If we can do that, we can limit infections, common cold and flu, things like that. That's where we've sort of been going with the immune system boosting foods. Hey, no problem, Deborah. My pleasure. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate you coming in and having a nice chat and talking about vitamin C. I hope it was helpful to you. It's great to hear that you're new to the channel and you came in and asked your questions. And I hope it was helpful with the vitamin C in the green tea. Okay. More questions. Geez, you guys are doing a great job asking these questions, keeping me on my feet this morning. What healthy food that good for people that have anemia? All right, that's a good question. All right, so foods for anemia. Do you have anemia yourself? I would imagine that you do. So we want to sort of focus on foods that are rich in iron usually. Again, this is another thing that we might want to speak with our medical practitioner about, but with anemia and things like that, pretty much always associated with low iron. So if we can turn to high foods that are high in iron, then we can sort of limit some of the symptoms that are caused from iron deficiency and anemia, like fatigue is one of them. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of some of the symptoms from that. I don't know if you're a meat eater or a fish eater or things like that. Spinach is a good one. I'm going to give you non-meats just because I think maybe those might be the easiest. But, you want high iron food, so spinach is a great one. It's actually funny, I was asking Siri foods high in iron because I was sort of wanting to make sure that I was getting enough iron over the last day. So we got spinach, legumes, things like that, high in iron, but also very high in a ton of other important nutrients. So say like magnesium and folate, potassium, things like that. Beans, same thing. Black beans, navy beans, things like that. Lentils cannot go overlooked. I believe just in 1 cup of cooked lentils, you're getting, it's not quite 50%, half of the iron that you need, but I believe it's somewhere close to about 40% of your daily recommended value. So lentils are a nice choice. But then you also have your red meats, liver, which I think D-Will said, and stuff like that. And then lastly, I'll just throw out, maybe if you're looking for a healthy fat, I threw out some legumes, a green vegetable. Pumpkin seeds are surprisingly high in iron. And you don't have to eat a ton of them. Again, that's the beauty about those healthy fats that I was talking about, like almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds. I think 1 ounce can give you somewhere, I know it's over 10% because I eat them every day and I look at the iron content. So it might be up there around 15% of your daily recommended value just in 1 ounce of pumpkin seeds. So those are some of the foods for anemia. Yeah, liver is like your classic one. Liver is your classic one, D-Will. You always hear about that. I think soon will be hard to find greens. How about sprouts grown at home? Well, truth, Angel, that's kind of an interesting comment. You never know. I like growing greens at home. I don't know I'm not sure about hard to find greens. If you could maybe elaborate on that a little bit more. But I love growing my own green vegetables and vegetables at home, and herbs as well. So I definitely do that. But very interesting comment. Thank you. Queen. Doctors claimed I do have anemia. He told me years ago I have low iron since I am vegan. Yep, often you see the correlation between low iron with vegans. Not to say vegan is bad at all. I'm just telling you what I've seen in studies and things like that. Iron and vitamin B12 often are the two most common ones. So that's why I gave you. So Queen, those green vegetables, the legumes, and the healthy fats are perfect for you because, people have been saying liver, red meat, things like that. As a vegan, that's not an option for you. So stick with your spinach, your legumes, your beans, lentils, things like that. Pumpkin seeds. Can I think of any other ones that would? Quinoa. Quinoa's a great one. Just off the top of my head. Would be great for you. And then maybe another leafy green vegetable. Let's keep it simple. We said spinach. Broccoli would probably be another good one for you, Queen. Okay. Sometimes beans can do that. So there you go. So yeah, stick with all the other ones. So you don't just have to eat beans or anything like that. You know, try quinoa. Quinoa seems to be good for the pretty easy on the digestive system. Kuan, I actually did go pretty in depth on taro root. I'm not sure if you heard it, but just the specific benefits of taro root. Actually, like I was saying before, very nutritious, very high in fiber. I was going over how it's low in calories, but very nutrient dense, which I love. High in fiber, high in manganese and B vitamins. I think it's going to give you good heart benefits just because of the fiber that are found in it. I think it might have some cholesterol lowering effects. And I believe it's good for gut health as well. So there might have been a question on gut health also in here, if I missed this. Oh, Deborah, I think you had mentioned that. So those are some of the things with taro root kuan. Nutrient dense, heart health, high in fiber, all good stuff. Not going to get blood sugar spikes or anything like that. Might even have some anti-inflammatory benefits, which is great. I've done tons of videos on taro root, so hopefully that helps out, buddy. D. Will, beets I love. I'll say that, okay? I've talked about beets quite a bit today, even in the anti-inflammatory video. Beets were in there, so there's just so many good things with beets. The nutrients, the nitrates, heart health, anthocyanins, so antioxidants. Beets are amazing. Beets are an amazing food. Good for the blood. So excellent question. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything here. Off topic, I was wondering if you do lives on gut health. I will be doing lives on gut health. Gut health is something I'm very passionate about. Actually, I consider it the second brain. Gut health is very important for our overall health. Numerous studies are backing that up. I take a probiotic every day. I take prebiotics, Deborah. I think gut health is extremely important, especially in today's world where irritable bowel syndrome, indigestion, a lack of nutrient uptake, leaky gut syndrome is huge. You're just seeing more and more of that. So we're not getting the nutrients. Even though we might be eating nutrient-dense foods, we're not absorbing these nutrients. So gut health is very important and a very important topic. I might even just do a video straight up on gut health, talking about that, Deborah. So thank you for bringing that up. Hopefully the taro root helped, Kuan. Did that help? Did you have anything else? Videos on sprouting. I don't have any videos on sprouting. You know what's funny, Tammy? I want to start making more videos on actually doing the home garden. It's funny that you mentioned that. It's kind of one of a passion of mine. Had a really good crop this last year, to be honest with you. And it's, there's little tips here and there I learned from my grandparents. I have to say, they're huge with planting and gardening and all that stuff. So that would make for good videos. I have a couple, but I won't say that I do have very many gardening videos or planting videos and stuff like that. But be on the lookout as we start to get more and more into the warmer weather. You probably will start to see more of those. Liquid chlorophyll. Interesting. I haven't heard of liquid chlorophyll. Well, I've heard of it, but I haven't really read too much on it. Chlorophyll I've obviously heard of, but I haven't really heard too much of liquid chlorophyll. So I'll have to look into that. That might be an interesting video topic. Thanks for bringing that up, Tammy. I love it when you guys bring up things that I haven't really looked too much into. So thank you for bringing that up. Queen, I know, yes, it can do that. It can definitely sort of, when I boil them, it'll turn sort of the water red and stuff like that. Sometimes we just have to kind of put that out of our minds, though, and just remember the healthy benefits of beets. The healthy benefits will outweigh it for sure. So if you can eat beets, that would be tremendous. They're just so healthy. Some of my very first video was how to prepare beets, I believe, on this channel. So way back in the day, and I was actually a live video. So that's always funny to go back to. Just starting out on YouTube. I think the channel is almost 8 years old now. To be honest, guys, it's crazy how time has flown by. Yeah, that's good. You're staying away from spicy foods and ulcers and things like that. We had things that, stress was brought up earlier. I'm not saying you have stress, Queen, but I am saying that ulcers can be caused by stress and things like that. But spicy foods are definitely one of those things that you would probably want to stay away from. From poor guy health. We'll like more videos on that. Okay, Kuan. I believe there is some on there. Not sure if you're talking about libido or anything like that, but there is a few on there. I don't make a ton of videos on that topic, but it's certainly some that I can make. YouTube is not a huge fan of those types of videos. I remember when probiotics were the doctor's enemy. They would not promote until benefits. I know, D-Will. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes, we're always a step behind, and then years later we sort of catch up. I remember the same thing happened with whey protein. People were always against whey protein and stuff like that, but now elderly are taking whey protein just because it's going to help. It's a food. It's at the end of the day, it's a food. If you're sensitive to dairy or anything like that, there's tons of other proteins out there. You got bean, you got lentil, you got brown rice types of proteins out there. But I remember people were so against it, but now you have it with elderly people, 80, 90, taking these protein supplements to increase muscle mass. As muscle mass starts to dwindle, it's great for it. A lot of amino acids, so they're getting a good absorption, bioavailability of that protein, and it's easier for them to intake and digest. Maybe not whey protein again, like I said, if there's sensitivities, but pea protein, brown rice, those vegan proteins, things like that. All right, let's go to our next question. Inside gardening. Yes, that's great. I would love to do a channel on inside gardening, Queen. You have no idea. I think that would just be amazing. Kind of starting my own. There's just so much information out there. I've read quite a few gardening books. I wouldn't say I have a green thumb quite yet, but I'm in the process of getting there. But I have had success. Like I've grown tomatoes, green beans, too many herbs for me to even mention. Basil, kale. We did, peppers, green peppers, hot peppers, cayenne peppers. So many stuff last year that just turned out great. All right, Tammy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in again, asking your great questions, and contributing to the discussion. Thank you very much. Lauren, excellent point. Eating yogurt or Greek yogurt, two things that I eat quite a bit. And yes, you will get some good probiotics in the yogurt and Greek yogurt. I know you're not saying this, but just be careful with some of the yogurts that are higher in sugar or have added sugar, things like that. Plain yogurt is obviously the ones that I eat, and Greek yogurt usually does come plain, or at least the ones I haven't eaten none plain Greek yogurt, so I'm not even really sure. I haven't looked at the different, maybe I've had raspberry once or twice or something like that, but I usually just have plain Greek yogurt, and and I love it. I think it's great. And yes, it can be good for gut health with those active bacterial cultures in it. Why some veggies are so bitter, like collard greens? Tried to bake them. Some just have that bitter taste. Some just have different taste, Queen. Different foods, different tastes, right? Some are spicy, some are mild. Some are bitter, some aren't. Some are sweet. And some veggies are definitely more bitter than others, that's for sure. You just got to find the right recipe where you can kind of mask that bitterness a little bit. Obviously with healthy foods and things like that, but if you can mask the bitterness and it can actually help you consume it and get the benefits of those foods, then even better. Collard greens, I have heard, are one of the more bitter ones. Fermented foods, absolutely, Angel. Absolutely, fermented foods. I have sauerkraut and things like that. So yeah, great for gut health, absolutely. Fermented foods are great. I did a video on fermented garlic not too long ago. So I'm right there with you, buddy. And again, this is all relating back. That's why I'm really enjoying this conversation, because again, it's all relating back to immune system boosting foods, boosting immunity and things like that. If our gut is healthy, then we're going to be boosting immunity at the same time as well. Hey Rajput, thank you so much for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. I think this might be your first time in, so thank you for coming in. And you're welcome, Kuban. You're very welcome, Kuban. My pleasure. Thank you for asking your great questions. What vegetables would you recommend as a beginner gardener? I don't think you can go wrong. Sorry, Rajput. You're kind of spamming a little bit in the chat. If you can slow it down just a little bit, because I'm missing some of the questions up here, that would be greatly appreciated. I know that you want to come in and maybe ask your questions, but I'm not seeing a question right now. So if you could just kind of slow it down a little bit so I don't miss some of the other questions, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Nutritionally based and easy to grow. Vegetables that I would recommend for a beginner, I'd recommend tomatoes. Tomatoes have always been easy for me to grow. Different types of tomatoes, you can have your beef, you can have your cherry tomatoes, things like that. I find tomatoes are an excellent beginner food to actually grow. Green beans were quite easy this year. And even kale was surprisingly easy. And then you can always start with herbs and stuff like that. But tomatoes, green beans, things like that. Even peppers, green peppers are another nice one. Those are definitely gonna help, and be one of the more easier ones to grow. And obviously nutrition based as well. Like peppers are great, tomatoes are great, lycopene and all that stuff. So I would start with that, D-Will, and see how it goes. Kimchi, good for gut health? Yes, absolutely. Sauerkraut, good for gut health? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, those are always two of the ones that jump out into my head when I talk about gut health and probiotics, prebiotics, things like that. Kimchi is always up there, and sauerkraut is always up there. So yes. Have I ever had pineapple tea? It has excellent health benefits. Use the skin of the pineapple and boil. Oh, yes. I've never had it. I might have made a video on that, though, Lauren. So the skin of the pineapple, boil it in water with cinnamon sticks, honey, and ginger. I don't know if I made the video on all of that. I think I just did it actually on the skin of the pineapple. But I've never had it. That might make an interesting video, actually, with all those different ingredients. That's an incredible mixture. An incredible mixture. I'm a huge fan of cinnamon, of ginger, of honey, of the pineapple skins, things like that. Some people will tell you or be a little bit more cautious with boiling honey and things like that. If you're worried about boiling honey, Very simple. Boil the rest of the ingredients and then add the honey in once it cools. And then you can just mix it up like that. So that sounds like an excellent tea, to be honest with you. Something I might have to try and maybe even make a video on. It'd be kind of cool if I made it live and then gave it a taste test. But no, that sounds excellent. Ginger, honey, cinnamon, pineapple, all great stuff. And is high in vitamin C too. Yes, you're absolutely right, keyword. Very high in vitamin C too. So coming back to our immune system boosting foods. Yes, you guys are doing great. Gut health. Yeah, gut health is like I said, one of the, we almost have like obesity and gut health seem to be some of the two bigger problems that we're sort of facing today. So if we can increase gut health, lower obesity, things like that, you know, I think we're going to be a lot better off and a lot healthier and have a lot more energy, especially with gut health. Because if you have poor gut health, that's just going to zap you of your energy, because you're, for one, going to be more susceptible to infections, to viruses, to disease. But two, you're not going to be absorbing as much nutrients. All right. So let's say you're taking the kelp, or you're taking B complex vitamins. You're actually not going to be absorbing those vitamins as well, and probably absorbing a lot less if you're having irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut syndrome, things like that. So it's really important that we have good gut health as well. So good gut health food is very important. Still welcome questions? Absolutely, Kuwan. Keep them coming, buddy. We're an hour in. Let's keep them going. Sometimes the chat can move a little bit fast, so I just will say this, and I always preface this with there's no expectation. You do not have to. But any super chats or anything like that will always go to the top of the list and will always be answered first, because I know I have been. That's why I kind of had to let the one chatter know, just to kind of slow it down a little bit, because I can miss questions quite easily when I'm answering one and it's taking me like 3 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer to answer one. I'll miss one. And I always want to make sure that I'm answering all your guys' questions. But again, there's no expectations for super chats, but I'm just letting you guys know that the super chats will be answered first. But again, I'm just happy to have you guys here, and I will leave it at that. Thank you so much. Pineapple contain bomalin? Huh, that's a good question. Bomalin. Never heard of bomalin, to be honest. Is that exactly how you spell it? Oh, bromelain. Bromelain, yes it does. I believe bromelain is what actually helps with digestion. So thank you, Lauren, for pointing that out. So bromelain is great in pineapple. And yes, it's going to help with, it's actually a digestive enzyme. I don't know if it's found in many other fruits or anything like that. I believe it's pretty specific to pineapples, to be honest with you. But yes, bromelain is that is contained in pineapple. So yeah, it's the digestive enzyme found in pineapple there, Kuwan. So if you are looking to again improve digestion with pineapple, even with that tea, you know, bromelain is another great thing that you can add, because it's going to help with the with your overall digestion as well. But that's a great question, and thanks, Lauren, for clarifying there, and thank you, D. Will, for asking the question. Digestion of protein, yes, exactly. So it can definitely help with protein digestion, which is good, and that's one of the reasons why I like it. So a lot of people will use bromelain as a digestive aid, and it's also good because it can. It's also, I believe, helpful as an anti-inflammatory as well. So it has tons of different uses. Now, some people do have a sensitivity to it. Yeah, anti-inflammatory. You read my mind. Read my mind there. Keyword. That's funny. So we just did that at the exact same time. So it does have some anti-inflammatory benefits. Some people are a little bit more susceptible to it with sensitivities and things like that. So it could cause diarrhea or bloating, constipation, things like that. So it's helpful to some people, not quite as helpful to others. So yeah, bromelain definitely in pineapple. So excellent question. But I can't say I eat too much fruit that's similar to like a pineapple or mango or papayas, things like that. I'm more of the fan, and I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just telling you my personal preference. I'm not good with sort of the fructose in those types of foods. Grapes is another one. So how I was saying, some people are okay with the pineapple, whereas others aren't. For pineapple, I react a little bit differently. I just find the sugar content, the fructose content, it spikes a little too high, and I just get sort of zapped with my energy gets zapped a little bit. Grapes, I just cannot eat. I haven't had grapes in years. I would love to have red grapes because they're just so high in antioxidants and resveratrol and everything like that, but I just can't have grapes just because, again, of the glucose and things like that. But if you guys can enjoy it, they're healthy, just make sure you're eating grapes in moderation. Cabbages are more healthy for guts. Green or purple? Both are fine, Queen. Green or purple, 100% fine. Both good for gut health too, actually. Probiotic and a prebiotic. Cabbage. I believe sauerkraut is just fermented cabbage, so both very good for gut health. But I'm not really a lover also of carrots. Not a lover, but I heard it's good for eyesight. Yes, carrot is good for eyesight. It has beta carotene, and I believe it also has lutein and zeaxanthin, if I'm not mistaken. Two very important antioxidant type compounds for eyesight as well. So lutein and zeaxanthin, can help fight against macular degeneration, cataracts, a deterioration in eyesight as we get older and things like that. I like to sort of have my carrots in sort of like a recipe. So I'll maybe steam them or something like that, but most of the veggies or things like that, I do eat raw. So I'm also a big fan of raw carrots as well. So I have no problem with that. But you got to eat how you got to have them how you enjoy them. Apple, it tastes way strange. Mangoes, avocado. Mangoes, I've heard of that. Avocado, I haven't, so that's interesting. It sounds like you might be sensitive to some foods there, Queen. I'm not sure if you've looked into like a food sensitivity test or talked to your doctor or anything like that. But you might want to, because there's a couple foods that you've mentioned that kind of send you to the bathroom there a little bit. So, you might want to look into that just a little bit. You spoke about gut health, but Candida hinders good. Yes. So Candida, I believe, is a yeast that's found, typically found in the intestines, I believe. So it can hinder, obviously good gut health and things like that. And I think it's also associated with fungi, if I'm not mistaken. Can really hinder nutrient uptake. So I know a couple people who've had Candida and things like that. So yeah, Candida can be very tough, especially on gut health and fatigue and energy and nutrient uptake and stuff like that. How to treat Candida? That's a really good question. So I think just continuing to eat your fiber for one. So helping to good bacteria to thrive. I also think having your probiotics and things like that, because candida again can lead to a lot of autoimmune disorders like leaky gut and things like that, so I think just trying to improve your overall microbiome, I would say, within the gut. So probiotics, again, very important, things like that.
If you work in a team, you've got to try Monday.com. Go to Monday.com and manage all your team's work.
Sorry, am I back? Did I lose you guys? I think for some reason, an ad popped up for me. Can everyone hear me okay? Can everyone hear? Are we still good? For some reason, I had an ad pop up. But yeah, with candida, I would just try to improve that overall microbiome. Sometimes you have to speak with a medical practitioner, D-Will. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I think you can. I might have went off there for a little bit, but hopefully I'm back. Okay, perfect. All good? Perfect. Thanks, guys. I can hear you. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm not sure what happened there. For some reason, I got an ad and I couldn't see the chat anymore. Bone broth. Bone broth I love. It's like the new rave, Deborah, actually. I just did, I think 3 or 4 days ago. I know you're new to the channel, but you might want to watch the bone broth video I did, I think sometime last week. It's hard to believe it's already Saturday. But I had actually done a video on bone broth and the benefits of bone broth. And so I'm a big fan. Tons of nutrients. Great for immunity boosting. So I'm a big fan of bone broth. I think it's great for, in the cold, if you're trying to fight common cold and flu, things like that. Again, boosting immune system, fighting infections. So give bone broth a try. I would definitely say that it would. I would definitely recommend it, and it's something that I think it can be quite tasty, to be honest, as well. I can hear you. Okay, perfect. Bone broth, lemon water, green smoothies. Yeah, and Lauren, those are all sort of the foods that I'm kind of alluding to that are going to help with increasing that microbiome in the gut. Bone broth I haven't heard. That's a new one for me. I know it can help with digestion, but candida specifically, very interesting. Green smoothies are great. You got the good probiotics, good bacteria in there. Lemon water is great for digestion, especially again if you squeeze some of the lemon into the water. If you don't just let it kind of infuse, you want some of that pulp in the lemon water, I believe, at least, because then you get the pectin benefit, so the fiber, and again, which is going to act as a food source for the good bacteria, and get rid of some of that yeast infection. So I'm making bone broth as we speak. Thanks for the encouragement. Awesome. Yeah, beef bones. Yeah, there's a ton of different ways that you can make it. I don't know of a good recipe, D-Will, so you might have to share that with me. I usually just buy it at like a Whole Foods store, like a health food store. So that's interesting. That's so funny you're making it right now. And thanks, Lauren. I'm glad. Thanks, guys, for letting me know you can hear me still. Sardines good for gut health. Haven't heard too much of sardines for gut health per se, but I do know that they are good for overall health. Protein, they're an oily fish, so you're going to get good healthy fats. You might want to eat them in moderation, but they are also good in omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids, which can sometimes be hard to get in a lot of foods. I know salmon is a good source of that. But a lot of people have to supplement just because it's so hard to get those omega-3s. Walnuts have a little bit. Flax seeds are a really good source of it. I love flax seeds. Again, if we're talking immune system boosting, man, flax seeds are something you guys are gonna maybe want to add to your diet. I don't think I talk enough about flax seeds. and just how important they are for overall gut health and overall immunity boosting, and just what a great source of nutrients and fats that they are. Yep, yeast thrives on sugar, 100%. That's why I think I'm not good with sugar. I'm very sensitive to sugar, and I found that out over the years. I don't think in my day-to-day, that's why I can't even eat like grapes and things like that, just because of the types of there's different types of sugars, like your fructose, your glucose, and things like that. But I'll find even with glucose and things like that, I'm very sensitive to that type of stuff. So I try to limit sugar intake as much as I can. I'm very sensitive to that, and also to sodium, like salt and things like that. Excuse me. Those are the two that I'm sensitive to. I think most people are. Most people can handle a little bit better, but if I eat any things high in sodium or anything high in sugar, then I immediately feel it, and I can feel it even into the next day. And if I'm having like a workout or something like that, I'm always weaker, and I get very dehydrated from it. So it's just not worth it for me to have anything like that. Yes, chia seeds also. Hemp seeds I do believe as well. I can't say off the top of my head for sure keyword with hemp seeds, but I do believe so. And chia seeds, one of the better ones. That was one of the ones I was trying to remember before. I was saying pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, hemp hearts. Chia seeds are another one keyword. Chia seeds I absolutely love. I'll add them into smoothies, or I'll add them into oatmeal and things like that. They're right up there with flax seeds for me. So chia seeds are excellent. I love chia seeds. Cassava I was very high on, Kuan. I believe we might have answered that last time, but cassava is something that I think has a good place in diet. Some people do react a little bit different to starchy type foods, and to root vegetables and things like that. It's very high in nutrients. It can be a little bit high in calories. Now I say it, even though I'm trying to remember, because like most root vegetables are high in starch, but a lot of the times it is resistant starch, similar to like your dietary fiber, like a soluble fiber. So it bypasses digestion. So there's several benefits to that. So resistant starch, like in cassava, is very good for gut health. Again, because it's going to feed that beneficial bacteria. And also reduce inflammation. So, again, if you have any blood sugar control issues, it's really helpful with that as well. So, cassava, big fan of that. Hemp seeds, yes. Yeah, flax seeds are some of my favorite hemp seeds as well. Sardines, great for brain health, excellent, yes. Skincare for sure. I think omega-3, there's been some studies that show a correlation between omega-3 fatty acids and omega-6 fatty acids with overall cognitive function and cognitive health. So I would agree with you there, Lauren. Yeah, Queen. It can give you that high, but man, you can crash for sure. I use sweeteners, 1 pill instead of sugar for my tea and coffee. Any thoughts on sweeteners? Interesting. Rupal, I hope I'm saying that right. For sweeteners, it's a give and take. For sweeteners, there hasn't been too many long-term effects. Obviously, you want to limit your intake of sweeteners, just with the chemicals and everything like that. I do use sweetener a little bit as well, instead of sugar for coffee. I think if you're just keeping it in moderation, you should be okay. I can't say for sure. I know the studies that they've done have been pretty ridiculously high intakes of things like Splenda and artificial sweeteners and stuff like that. So I think just having it in moderation, and then maybe even weaning yourself off just a little bit. So if you're having 2 coffees a day and things like that, you know, maybe putting it in 1 coffee and then having the second one black. Maybe not putting it in your tea. Maybe using honey. Honey is a nice sweetener, especially raw organic honey is a nice sweetener. We can keyword. You know, it's sort of interesting. Yeah, well, if not in moderation, I would try to go moderation, Rupal. Maybe add some raw organic honey in your tea. So like a natural sweetener, so not chemical based and things like that, or artificial sweeteners. But again, those studies, I haven't seen a ton of studies where it's like a limited amount of sweetener used. It's usually a very high dose. And that sounds great, Deborah. I hope that you enjoy the video. There was one question I wanted to go back to. Oh yes, keyword. Apparently we burn more fat when we feed our friendly bacteria vegetable fiber. I think it might be able to increase metabolism a little bit, just with the breakdown of fiber and things like that. Will it necessarily make a huge difference? Probably not. Or else I would just feed my good bacteria all day, and I would be at a nice. My weight's fine right now, but maybe lose some body fat and everything like that, or most people would. But yeah, it might be able to increase metabolism a little bit. I think the more fiber that you have too, though, I think maybe the biggest benefit is that you're feeling more satiated and feeling more full, so you're not kind of snacking or eating throughout the day or getting those hunger cravings. But yeah, no, that's definitely interesting. There's definitely nothing bad with feeding good bacteria with vegetable fiber. That's for sure. Ah, Ballard honey. Never heard of that, but that's something that I might have to take a look into. Hey, no problem, Rupal. My pleasure. Like I said, everything in moderation, one step at a time. It's not like tomorrow you got to make 100% change. I'm a big believer in one step at a time. One step at a time, and eventually, you know, I think the raw organic honey is a great substitute, especially in tea. Like raw, or I'm not sure what type of tea you're drinking, but raw organic honey and tea make for an excellent combo. So that's great. What do you think of cucumber? I think cucumber's great. I have tons of videos on cucumber kuwan, like cucumber water, raw cucumber, everything from that. But very nutritious, great for the skin, hydrating, good fiber, low in calories. I think it's an excellent green vegetable. Or is it a fruit? Sometimes I confuse myself. I believe fruit. I believe vegetable. I used to love to drink coffee, but gave me pounding migraines, so I had to give up coffee. But I still crave coffee once in a while, so I focus on antioxidants. Yes, antioxidant teas are nice. I drink antioxidant teas all the time. Green tea still gives me a little bit of caffeine. Not that much. It's probably about like 1/10. 1/8 of the amount of caffeine than a regular cup of coffee, but I try to focus on antioxidant rich teas as well. Turmeric, green tea, things like that. Those are sort of the main teas. And then if you add the raw organic honey to green tea, man, you're getting an antioxidant powerhouse right there, because raw organic honey is one packed with antioxidants, but it's also going to increase your antioxidant capacity in the body. So that's a great combination there. If you're adding raw organic honey into green tea, something that I always love to do, and it's quite popular as well. Yeah, that's one of the main benefits. Raw organic honey doesn't necessarily have a ton of nutrition in it, but it certainly does have a ton of antioxidants in it. And it's one of the rare foods that can actually increase antioxidant capacity in the body. So your body can absorb more antioxidants. Again, boosting immune system, keeping us healthier, fighting infections, things like that. Yeah, me too, Deborah. I'm the same way. If I have anything that's kind of sugar based or anything like that, again, doesn't matter if it's like your mango or papaya, grapes, things like that, I always feel it pretty much immediately and into the next day. So that's why I'll always say I'll have fibrous fruits and veggies. So fibrous fruits meaning like apples, pears, things like that. And I'm not saying that papaya and mango is bad. In fact, I believe mango is known as the king of fruits. And it's great for some people. It's just not good for me. So I'm not saying don't eat mango or anything like that. It's just for me, it just doesn't work out. And so I stick to pears and all that stuff. Oranges, I'm fine with. That's one of the ones that I'm good with. So I'll enjoy an orange or a plum. Plum's a great one. So things like that. Typical, yes, UK green herbal teas. Yeah, I think so. There you go. Green and herbal teas will make an excellent addition with that raw organic honey, Rupal. I really do. I really think that putting in that raw organic honey, I think you might really like that. So, and the health benefits are great for it as well. Thank you, Queen. I would take one for sure. One of my favorites, like a nice green tea with organic honey, I think is an excellent mixture and one of my favorites. So, thank you. I used to put frozen mangoes and stuff like that. I used to get this mixed bag of like mangoes, papaya, pineapple, grapes were even in it, strawberries, and I would put it into smoothies. And from even from that point, I knew that it just wasn't for me because you're getting these nice healthy foods, but it just wasn't sitting well. I was always feeling zapped of energy. I was feeling dehydrated after having them. The grapes in them almost tasted like candy. They were so sugary. Same thing with the pineapple. So I just kind of stay away from them altogether now. Hey, no problem, Rupal. My pleasure. Thank you for your question, and I hope you enjoy the teas. I know in UK it's very popular. So hopefully you can still enjoy it, and you even enjoy it a little bit more. What foods do you suggest to burn stubborn fat? They say brag up. Okay, this is an interesting one. So this is kind of right up my alley, Rupal. That's a good question. So I am a strong believer that not there's no miracle food out there. I'll put it like that to burn stubborn fat. Now there are foods that are going to increase your metabolism. Apple cider vinegar was a big one for a long time. You see a bunch of videos on that. Green tea is one of those other ones because it has EGCG in it, so that's the active compound in it, can boost metabolism up just a bit. Is it going to increase metabolism enough to actually burn stubborn fat? Probably not. I think eating a well-balanced diet and being active is going to be your best bet. It can definitely help supplement that. So if you're active and you're already eating healthy, then adding those things are just going to be another great way of burning stubborn fat. But, taking a shot of apple cider vinegar every morning, and Bragg's is a very good one. That's kind of like the go-to. Is that going to burn stubborn fat on itself, in and of itself? Probably not. Probably not. Burning fat has to do with eating a calorie deficit. So you have to eat less calories than it takes for you to maintain your weight. So just having the apple cider vinegar on its own isn't going to do much for burning fat, unfortunately. It can help if you're doing everything else right, but again, on its own, the studies just don't really support it. The studies show an increase of metabolism, but yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of recommending saying if you eat this, this, and this, then yeah, you're going to burn a bunch of fat. I think it's going to be a process of a well-balanced diet, of exercise, and everything like that. Olive oil company. I'm not sure if an olive oil company, but I know that, what's the word? Extra virgin olive oil. For some reason I was blanking there. So anything that's extra virgin olive oil is going to be good for health, Queen. So if you can get extra virgin olive oil, that's going to be a good high quality olive oil for yourself. And olive oil, again, moderation, but very high in polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. So very good fat sources. Just keep it in moderation. It's kind of the same thing with the lemon water, like warm lemon water in the morning. It's not going to be the end all be all or the magic drink that's going to burn stomach fat and things like that. It's going to be a calorie deficit and exercise. Again, kind of like I was saying to Rupal, and Rupal, no problem, my pleasure. Thank you for your question. It's not going to be the end all be all. It can help with metabolism, and it can help with satiety a little bit, especially again if you're squeezing some of the lemon into it, so you're getting the pulp in there. But it's not just going to automatically start burning fat. And everyone always thinks we'll sort of go to stomach fat. You can't spot reduce anyway. So if you were going to burn fat, you'd have to burn fat throughout the entire body. So just by drinking it isn't going to target stomach fat or visceral fat, so the fat that's underneath your stomach. You have to lose fat throughout the entire body to usually start hitting that stomach fat as well. So again, I'm not a huge proponent of drinking like a magic drink or anything like that, or eating a certain food. It just doesn't quite work that way. And there's lots of detox drinks and stuff like that, but guess what? Those detox drinks or the cleanses, a lot of the times they're super low in calories, so you're not eating very much, and that probably means you're in a calorie deficit. Yeah, a lot of times people do raise their blood sugar. That definitely does happen, keyword. I think a lot of times we're raising our blood sugar, and that's going to cause that spike, but then you get that crash, and then you're just going to crave more, and you're going to feel hungrier. And then once we feel that, that's when we reach for certain foods that we might not want to be reaching for, if that makes sense. Okay, so smaller window. Are you kind of speaking towards like intermittent fasting type stuff? If anything, yeah, absolutely. Vitamin C for sure, for fiber with the lemon water, lots of nutrients with that. Detoxing, I have heard some studies with the apple cider vinegar and stuff like that. So yeah, I think more so in that sense than in a weight loss or stomach fat losing sense, for sure. Yep, you can definitely do both. I am sort of a big proponent on being at least a little bit active, Queen. I know it's definitely hard. Don't be too hard on yourself, though. Everyone's different, so you got to do what works best for you. So if eating a healthy, balanced diet is working for you, then you keep at that. Oh wow, that sounds like quite the mixture, Kuwan. I would say, yeah, that would be good. I mean, that's all healthy food right there. Again, moderation, but that's all pretty low calorie foods right there. The sardines can be a little bit high since they are an oily fish, but I mean, you got onion, so tons of nutrients in that. You got a citrus fruit in that. You got protein with the sardines and good healthy fats there. You got a nice complex starchy carb in the taro root for breakfast. So I don't think that's bad at all. Yeah, you were mentioning that, Queen, low blood sugar because of blood type. Well, that's good that you're talking to someone about that, because that's something that you definitely want to speak to a medical practitioner about. Try to kind of fix that and make sure you're not struggling with it too much. So I hope that you are kind of dealing with that and feeling better. Yeah, and you know, Rupal brings up a good point. You know, it's baby steps first, or crawl before you run. You don't have to start out with a 30-minute video or something like that. Just if you're moving for 5 minutes and starting with that, that's better than, you know, not doing anything for the day. So just a little bit of movement each and every day, or a couple times a week, like 3 times a week, I think is a great start. Yeah, it was the sugar, Deborah. Absolutely. I'm fine with milk. I'm fine with gluten as well. Absolutely no problems. And for me, I figured it out on my own too. We're very similar in that sense. It was always the sugar. So I'm not a big fan of sugar. If you haven't been able to tell yet, I'm not a very big fan of sugar. Yeah, absolutely, Rupal. Yep. A few minutes of walking each and every day, it adds up. And that's going to be what's targeting belly fat. Not your shot of apple cider vinegar, unfortunately. And I don't say that in a condescending way or to be rude in any way. I think it's a great question, and it makes sense because there's so many videos out there. There's so many articles out there. But a lot of the times it's just not feasible. Yeah, a lot of people do keyword. It's funny when I do consultations and things like that. You know, it's that nighttime dieting, which really gets people. That's when the chips, the cookies, the sweets, the fast food tends to come out. The hard part is stopping once it gets dark. You got to make sure that you have a good meal and that you're satiated with that last meal. And make sure that it's healthy and a lot of micronutrients. Yeah, winter it can be a little bit tough, Queen. I know what you mean. It can slow you down a little bit like that, but one step at a time. You know, keep that diet good right now. Keep those micronutrients, you know, and then you're fine. Sorry, Rupal, I don't give out my name here. I'm just Foods for Health on here right now. Eventually, maybe I will, but for right now, I'm just gonna keep it at that. But thanks for asking though. But I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. And it's been like that for 8 years. So yeah, tackle it with exercise. You're 100% right. Yeah, very cold outside, and 100% D will. COVID-19 has done that for so many people. People just can't get the exercise that they were getting before, and it's cold right now and everything like that. So it can make it tough. There is, I think Rupal might have brought it up. There's some, you know, good home workouts that you can find on YouTube. Even just get moving like that. But even still, I know on a day-to-day that it can be very tough. Absolutely. Do I do this every Saturday? I do it quite often, to be honest with you, Queen. So Saturday was just the day that I picked. I might do it again tomorrow. I've done it a couple times this week. I just enjoy getting on here and chatting with you guys. So, yeah, I kind of just give a little update. Like I'll do in the morning, give a little alert, or the day before, just to make sure you guys know when I'm going to be on. And then you guys can just pop on whenever I'm on, and we can have a chat from there. But I think I will end it there. We've been going, for almost 100 minutes right now. Time flies by. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the streams just as much as I am. I'm really enjoying answering these questions, having these chats with you. We cover everything from, you know, immune boosting foods to fat loss to working out, all this stuff. Everything that incorporates overall health. And that's the goal of these streams. At the end of the day, it's all about overall health, and it takes diet, it takes working out, movement, things like that. Working out sometimes gets a bad rap because everyone thinks gym type stuff or lifting heavy or doing these intense workouts, but it does not have to be that. It can be just nice, easy, enjoyable walks. But I think we'll end it there, guys. Thank you so much for all the thumbs up. I really appreciate it. You guys are crushing the like button. Thank you so much. Again, that tells YouTube that you guys are appreciating what we do here. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. And if you can, maybe watch that anti-inflammatory video that I just put up right before I got on here, because that's going to be a great immune system boosting recipes there for you as well. So I think you guys might enjoy that also. Yes, Rupal, great. I'm very happy to hear that you enjoyed it. And it was great having you here for the first time. D. Will, that's awesome. I'm glad you saw the update, so it's working like it should. Perfect. Thank you, Queen. You as well. My pleasure. I'm glad that you were able to learn a lot. And I'm glad that we've been able to have this nice chat and go back and forth with each other. And again, keyword, my pleasure. Love making these videos, so they're not going anywhere. And there'll be more streams to come and more good discussions. So thanks, D. Will. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone, for such a great stream. So let's end there. I might be back tomorrow. We'll see. You guys will see a notification pop up if it is. I would sort of like to get into anti-inflammatory foods a little bit. We talked about that just a little bit, but again, if it's anti-inflammatory foods, it doesn't mean we just have to talk about anti-inflammatory foods. Remember, the forum's open, so you guys can ask whatever questions you want, maybe certain things that you're eating in your diet, things you might want to add to your diet, things like that. Maybe food video ideas that you might want to see, things like that. Thanks, Queen. You as well. Everyone, please take care of yourself. Stay safe. I'm glad that we're able to do this, and I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. So stay safe, everyone. I will hopefully see you probably tomorrow, but we'll see. But there'll definitely be another video tomorrow as well. So I'll let you guys know. I'll put an alert up. And thank you so much for all the likes and for the support over the years. Okay, guys, have a good one. I will talk to you soon.